Hey, welcome! Today, we're going to tackle one of the most feared interview questions out there and turn it into your absolute best moment to shine.
You know the one. The question that can make your palms start sweating no matter how confident you are. But here's the thing. It really doesn't have to be that scary. In fact, if you know what you're doing, this is one of the best chances you'll get to really stand out from the crowd.
So, why do they even ask this? Look, it's not some kind of trick question. Your answer tells them way more than just a list of skills. It shows them you're self-aware, that you're honest, and how you handle a little bit of pressure. They're basically trying to figure out who you are. And this question, it's a huge piece of that puzzle.
Okay, so let's break down a couple of classic ways people totally blow this. First, you've got the unimaginative answer. Saying you're a hard worker? Come on, that's such a cliche. And blaming other people for your weakness? That's a massive red flag. Then there's the vague answer. Using words like probably or pretending you don't have any weaknesses. It just makes you sound unprepared or worse, a little dishonest.
Okay, enough with the don'ts. Let's get into the do's. We're going to build the perfect answer, starting with how to talk about your strengths in a way that sounds confident but also totally genuine.
Honestly, the best answers follow this really simple three-step game plan. First, you assess what you're good at. Next, you tailor those skills to the job you're actually applying for. And finally, this is the key, you prove it with a real example. This little framework makes sure your answer hits all the right notes.
And what's so cool about this is that it helps you organize your thoughts. Just think of it like 3 different buckets. You've got your knowledge-based skills, stuff you learned in school or on the job. Then your transferable skills, like communication, which are useful anywhere. And finally, your personal traits, the stuff that makes you, you. When you lay it out like this, you'll realize, wow, I have a lot of strengths to choose from.
And this right here, this is probably the most important thing to remember. You have to tailor your answer. A generic strength just doesn't land. The real magic happens when you connect your strength directly to what they need for the job and then back it up with a story.
All right, deep breath. Let's talk about the part everyone dreads, the weakness. But listen, instead of seeing this as a trap, we're going to flip the script. This is actually an amazing opportunity to show how mature you are, how honest you are, and that you're someone who is always trying to get better. So here's the game plan. You're not supposed to confess some fatal flaw that's going to knock you out of the running. The goal is to pick something real, but not, a deal breaker. And then you immediately pivot to how you're actively working on it. It's all about emphasizing the positive action.
Okay, but a huge word of caution here. You have got to avoid the cliche answers. Trust me, interviewers have heard I'm a perfectionist or I just work too hard a million times, and they just see it as a dodge. And whatever you do, never ever say you don't have any weaknesses. The point isn't to seem perfect, it's to seem self-aware and honest.
So let's just boil it down to the winning formula. It's super simple, just 2 parts. Number 1, acknowledge a real but not job-critical weakness. And number 2, the most important part, show them the actual concrete steps you are taking to get better. That's it. Acknowledge and demonstrate. Simple, but so powerful.
All right, theory's over. Let's see what this looks like in the real world. We're going to put it all together and look at some killer examples.
Okay, check out this example for a sales job. This is just perfect. The strength isn't just, I'm a good communicator. It's specific, it's relevant to sales, and best of all, it's proven with a number. A deal closed at 25% over asking. That's how you make an answer unforgettable.
And boom, there it is, the weakness formula in action. This person admits to being shy, which is a genuine challenge. But what makes this so powerful is the immediate pivot. They show they're self-aware enough to see the problem, and then they list the proactive things they did to fix it. This isn't just a weakness anymore. It's a success story about personal growth.
So when you combine these 2 parts, the proven strength and the self-aware weakness, what do you get? You get an answer like this one. It's balanced, it's confident, and it is seriously impressive. This is the kind of answer that makes an interviewer sit up and take notice, for all the right reasons.
So look, the next time you're sitting in that chair and you hear that question, just remember this. It's not a test you have to pass. It's an invitation. It's your chance to tell them your story, not just who you are, but who you're working hard to become. And that right there is a story that any company would be lucky to hear.
Hey there, welcome back to Ace the Job Interview. Today we're tackling one of the most common, and honestly, one of the toughest, interview questions. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Most people get nervous when they hear it. But here's the truth. This question isn't meant to trick you. Interviewers ask it to see if you're self-aware, honest, and focused on growth. And if you answer it right, it's your chance to make a powerful first impression. Let's start with strengths. Most candidates give generic answers like, I'm a hard worker, or I'm a team player. That won't set you apart. Instead, follow this simple 3-step formula. Step 1. Know your real strengths. Think about the skills you use every day that actually make a difference. Maybe it's your communication, leadership, or attention to detail. Step 2. Match your strengths to the job. Don't just talk about what you're good at. Show how it connects to what the company needs. For example, if it's a customer-facing role, highlight empathy or problem-solving. If it's a data role, talk about analysis and precision. Step 3. Prove it with an example. Stories make your answers memorable. Instead of saying, I'm a good communicator, say, in my last job, I led a client presentation that helped close a deal 25% above target. That one sentence shows confidence, skill, and results. Now, let's talk about the second half, weaknesses. This part makes most people panic, but don't worry. It's not a trap. It's a test of self-awareness. Here's the key. Choose a real weakness, but one that doesn't define your ability to do the job. Then show what you're doing to improve it. For example, you could say, I used to take on too many projects myself, but now I set clear priorities and delegate more effectively. That answer works because it's honest, specific, and focused on progress. And please, skip the tired cliches like, I'm a perfectionist, or I work too hard. Interviewers hear those every day. What they really want is authenticity. When you combine a proven strength with a real, improving weakness, you come across as confident, self-aware, and mature, exactly the kind of person companies want to hire. So the next time you hear that question, don't panic. Smile, take a breath, and tell your story. Remember, your goal isn't to sound perfect, it's to sound real. You're showing who you are, what you're great at, and how you're growing. That's the kind of answer that leaves a lasting impression. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Ace the Job Interview for more tips that help you stand out, get noticed, and get hired.